What's up everybody, Jefe Jones here with a video on my Rune page setup. In this video I will be discussing the Rune pages that I use for solo queue, why I picked that page, and how it's effective. But before I begin, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a League of Legends jungler who's been playing for about 5 years. Now I didn't actually start playing ranked until Season 3 when I peaked Plat 5. And then Season 4, I got to Gold 1, and then right now, I'm at Gold 2. So, kind of declined a little bit, but I'm hoping to climb back up, get to Plat, and then after Plat, I want to go for Diamond. So, that's the goal. I have a little bit of knowledge about the game, and I will do my best to explain any knowledge that I have to you guys. So, with that said, let's begin. So, first Rune page is Yasuo's Rune page. Now I just named it Yasuo because it has the crit chance, and you could pretty much run this on any AD that you play. You can even do an AD carry bot lane or an AD bruiser top if you're a strong believer in the 1% crit, because if that crit chance procs, you will see the damage. You will see their health bar lose a pretty big chunk from just that one hit. But it's pretty much a must on Yasuo because he's, a crit champ. So crit chance on him is just godlike. You want it. There's no reason not to have it on Yasuo. So he's pretty much a must, which is why I named it Yasuo. But like I said, if you're just a strong believer, you can pretty much use this on any AD bruiser that you want. The next one's a foolish build. Kind of just a random build that I did. I think it was for ranked 5s. And I was playing tank jungle, and I just wanted to survive a lot and get my team enough time to set up and be effective in team fights. So, you could probably run this if you're trying to do like a 30 defensive mastery setup. So you're just super tanky from your masteries and then super tanky from your runes late game, as well as a 15 physical damage to help you clear the early game jungle. But, pretty much preference. You don't really get that much armor and magic resist from masteries early game, especially not as much as you would get from runes. So you might be a little squishy in the early game if you were to run something like this, even though you're doing 30 defensive masteries. So just keep that in mind. This is the Rek'Sai page. This is everything Rek'Sai needs in the jungle to sustain and be effective. She needs the move speed to help her get around, physical damage to help her clear the jungle, as well as the attack speed that scales with Hunter Machete, because Hunter Machete, more auto attacks, more damage, so you want attack speed in the jungle. And then a little bit of MR, a little bit of armor to keep you alive, as well as these 5% cooldown in case you end up building those items that give you 35% cooldown and you're kind of sitting there like, wow, I'm at 35%. Really wish I had 5% more just to have a 40, since I'm like right there. This will take care of that for you. Okay, this is a rather older AD carry build rune setup. This is for those defensive players that just kind of want to farm bot lane, stay in lane for a while, don't really want to be aggressive, don't want to take too much damage, and if you do, you can kind of sustain yourself back up. It's pretty good with the Doran's Blade because they give you 6% lifesteal level 1, and then you can even run something like Feast. So every time you get a kill, you get 3 health back and 1 mana. This will just help you. This will just help synergize with all those masteries if you like to run it. But do keep in mind, since you only have 11 physical damage, you will not hit as hard as the other carry if he's going 15 physical damage. 15 physical damage is just really good to have. A lot of champions just scale really well with flat AD, and then that 4 you're missing from here can really make the difference in terms of damage output when exchanging with another AD carry. So just keep that in mind. Try it out, maybe in normals first, see what you like. If you're really new to the game and you're really uncomfortable, I definitely recommend a different page, which I will go over with you in a few moments. It's coming up right now. I think it's page 8 or page 7. I'll explain that when I get there. Here's a Lee Sin page, perfect example of the 15 physical damage because Lee Sin scales really well with it. He just hits hard and you just want it on him, as well as your typical MR and armor resistances to keep him alive, and then yet again the 5% cooldown in case you build those items and you're stuck at 35% again. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of the CDR. It's going to be on a lot of my rune pages because I just really like CDR. Here's a page for those AD bruisers or AD carries that have to go against a team or a laner that does a lot of magic damage. Also, even if the opposing team is, 3 players are magic users and the other 2 are physical damage users, then you could probably run this because a majority of their damage is going to be magical. So you're going to want the resistances and the health to survive the burst and damage. And you're going to want the 15 physical damage to give you damage output. And then you can, since chances are they're physical, one will be ranged and there will be melee. So the melee you should be able to kite or walk away from. And then the ranged, since there's only one ranged user, you can get away with, some armor from items and whatnot. So here's a good rune page for a team that's mostly magic and you're a physical user, or if you just have to go against a magic user in the top lane or something like that, And then here's the page I was talking about for AD carries, or just any AD bruiser in general. If you're not too sure what to do, can never really go wrong with 15 physical damage, 9 armor, and 12 MR. Kind of just give you the early game stats to stay alive and do damage at the same time. So, new to the game or you're beginning, you're not too sure how to build your runes, here's a really good starting rune page to use. Here's another weird sustain rune page that I used for Wukong, because he really needs the lifesteal bonus in the jungle to survive, because he has no sustain and he just gets beat up. He just takes so much punishment. It's not even funny. I do believe in the 1% crit on Wukong, as well as some physical damage to help his clear time, a little bit of health, a little bit of armor, and a little bit of MR. And once again, the 5% cooldown, because, yeah, you know what. Here's my Nidalee jungle page. It's still kind of in the works. I've been using it for a while, but I may change it up a little bit later. But it's pretty much ability power, physical damage, and armor. I really like the 20% or 26 ability power, because with Nidalee, she's a very strong champion in the early game, and you kind of want to get first blood with her because she's highly capable of getting first blood. If you play Nidalee, I highly recommend practicing her, learning her mechanics, learning the Cougar form, figuring out where you can and cannot jump, over the walls and the different parts of the map. And then once you've learned the spots, I recommend trying to maximize your distance travel when, running around the map. So you get your first buff, you get level 2, and then you go straight to the enemy's camp. So, like, say you started the red lane, you started bot, or I guess golems, okay, and you're going for your red buff after level 2, which means that the enemy jungler is probably going to start at their blue buff, so they're probably doing Gromp, and they're trying to get level 2 from Gromp. And at this point, you guys are both level 2, you did golems, they did Gromp. He's going to his blue buff, you're not going to the red buff. You're going to go straight to his blue buff, and you're going to try to kill him. And this will help you do that. This ability power will give you that damage just to ensure the kill, and then the physical damage will give you that little extra on your takedown to ensure the kill. So I really recommend this for Nidalee because you want that first blood with her, and this will definitely help you get it. Okay. Here's an Orianna mid lane build. Very risky, very ballsy. Would not recommend it against someone who's, bursty, or someone who's going to cheese Orianna, or like a counter to Orianna, because Orianna's pretty weak. She's going to die. Unless you're super confident that you're not going to get spanked and you're not going to die, then you can go ahead and run this because you will be pretty strong late game. If you do not feel comfortable with this, then you can go ahead and take out this ability per level, which are these glyphs right here, and change that to MR to give you more defensive stats in the mid lane to survive. You know, here's a rumble page, but you could pretty much use this on any AP user that's going against an AD caster or AD bruiser, because it has the armor you need, some health to survive, a little bit of AP to give you damage, as well as a magic pen to ensure more damage. But mostly, you know, Rumble is the #1 top pick, I think. He's just broken as shit. He's a really good top lane to play, to learn, and this is just an all-around good page for him to have. Next page is another foolish build. This one was more for my Jarvan, I believe season 4. I think I might have ran the season 4. But you know, some lifesteal to keep him alive in the jungle, a little bit of armor, and a little bit of MR for those team fights. And then I ran 12 armor pen because Jarvan has high base damage. So armor pen is a beautiful thing to have on Jarvan. And you also notice a 10% CDR as opposed to 5%. And I think I did that because I didn't want to waste those talent points or those mastery points on the CDR. I wanted to use them somewhere else. And this allowed me to build the same 2 items that gave me 30% CDR, or 3 items, I guess, depending on how you build, and still reach my 40%. So I like getting 40% whenever I can, whether it be from items or rune mastery setup. I want to get that 15%. Here's an Elise jungle page. This is a really old one. I really haven't touched this one in a while, but it's what I used on my Elise jungle back when she was pretty strong. You could also do this on maybe Ev jungle, because you know, if you just want to be like a carry mode and just do all damage, this can help you clear the jungle as well as do damage to enemy champions when you gank. Even Gragas can get away with running something like this if you just want to, you know, like I said, do damage. So Nidalee too, but I recommend the ability power because, you know, her spears hit harder with AP. And then here's the Singe page, pretty similar to the Rumble page, with the exception of move speed over health, because Singe gets enough health as it is, and move speed is just too good on Singe not to have. So you can also run this on another AP mage that you like to play if you want to roam a lot, because this move speed's good. It'll help you get across the map, help you move around, maybe even help you dodge skill shots. So, you know, play around with some stuff. You know, try some room pages, set them up, see how they work for you. It's all about preference. Next one is a Warwick page, but you could pretty much use it for any meta jungler you want right now. Mostly maybe like a health tank, someone who just scales pretty well with attack speed. This is what gives you health, armor, magic resist, a little bit of attack speed, and that cooldown again. Because, you know, you never know when you're going to have that 35%. This is the second page I use for meta junglers, but this one has 15% cooldown. So this is if you really want to give yourself a lot of options when it comes to item builds. You can just give yourself 5% mastery CDR, and then you can build your Frozen Heart or your Black Cleaver, and technically you'd be done. But if you don't want to do that, like say you're playing Volibear and you want magic resist, you could build your Spirit Visage and your Locket of the Iron Solari, and there you have it. You have 20% just from those 2 items, as well as quite a bit of MR. So that's what this is for, to give you that flexibility. You know, maybe they're not magic and you don't need much MR and you just want to build your Frozen Heart and your Thornmail, and there you go. You have a shit ton of armor, as well as full CDR with just that one frozen heart. So that's what that's for. Like I said, it's all about preference. Whatever works best for you. This is my Thresh page. This is for support Thresh. Kind of an older one, but you know, the idea behind it is physical damage and attack speed, because you want to auto attack as much as you can as Thresh to get that poke in. Seeing as Thresh doesn't really have damaging spells, he's mostly a CC king, so this gives you that poke potential you need, as well as some defensive stats to take a little bit of punishment if they do manage to attack you in exchange. And playing an AP support, and you want to kind of do the same thing, this is the page you would use. It has your ability power, a little bit of mana regen, your magic pen, and then your defensive stats to keep you alive. So, you know, Vel'Koz, Karma, Morgana, Zyra, these are all good examples of champions that would use this page. You know, Lux, if you're into Lux support. And if you're not into those kind of supports, and you just want to be a tank support, and you just want to be like absorb all the damage, then you'd run something like this. Give yourself 21 armor, a little bit of health, and mana regen. And Leona, Braum, Nautilus are all pretty good examples of, or pretty good champions that would use this page. So I use this definitely on Leona and Braum and Nautilus. So preference, how you play bot lane. Are you a passive support or are you aggressive? And the last one is for Hecarim, or Pony, as I like to call him, My Little Pony. And you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You got your move speed, because Hecarim scales extremely well with move speed. You got your physical damage for your early game damage, and then you got your MR and MR per level, as well as your flat armor to give you a little bit of defensive stats throughout the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all 20 of my rune pages. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if I was a little inconsistent, or if I wasn't clear in my speech. I'm a little nasally right now. I'm a little congested, so I probably sound really stupid or whatnot. But if you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe, leave any comments if you have any questions or constructive criticism. Positive constructive criticism, much appreciated. But then again, this is America, this is the internet, so negative comments will occur. And if that's the case, oh well, it is what it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm out.